Oops. Just a second. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our June the 8th council meeting. As you may notice, a lot of us are wearing orange, and this week has been a very unique week for us as we have felt with the people of Kamloops and the resulting impact that has happened in regards to a date in history when something happened that was very difficult for us to understand today how it could have happened. So in light of that, we wanted to choose to wear orange. I also wanted to take the opportunity to acknowledge the value that we have from the Indigenous population that lives in Canada. The value that they provided for us as far as the country to be built. The opportunities that we have today to work together with them to make sure that there is no discrimination, no separation, but yet an equal opportunity for everybody to share in the wealth of our country. So in light of that, in the statement that we want to work together with our Indigenous population, we just want to take a moment to take a moment of silence as we remember the 215 lives or the graves that were discovered of lives lost in Kamloops, BC, and also acknowledge the fact that there are probably many more across this country. So if you would bow with me just for a moment of silence. God, as we reflect on the atrocities of history, in particular in regards to our own nation and how we have treated the Indigenous people, we pray, God, for forgiveness for our country. We pray, God, that we would be a better people that would reach out to meet the needs of all those around us, regardless of race, color, or creed. God, you have given us many opportunities in this country. I just pray that we would not take advantage of the opportunity without remembering those that are in need. We ask that you would comfort the families that are represented in those 215 lives in particular, and that you would heal this nation. We ask this in your name. Amen. All right, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of June the 8th, 2021 be adopted. Mover?
Henry Simmons.
And do we have a seconder?
Marvin.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do Marvin. And any error or any additions to the minutes or to the agenda? No additions, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of May the 25th, 2021 be adopted. Mover?
Don.
Don, thank you. Seconder? Karina, thank you. Any errors or omissions in the council minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Correspondence, we have a letter from the Municipal Relations Derek Johnson in regards to advising us of our per capita grant that we are getting in 2021, of which the first payment was 75% of the total, and I'm assuming, Jody, that we received that?
I believe so.
The balance 25% coming in the fall. So a total of $1,016,709 is the grant, and we appreciate that, acknowledge that as being a support coming from our provincial government and from the taxpayers of Manitoba. Moving on to the finance, be it resolved that the accounts payable in the amount of $1.255,930,072 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. And any questions regarding the check registry? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Fire Committee minutes of June the 2nd, 2021 and May of 2021 fire report be adopted. Mover?
Michael?
Thanks, Michael. Seconder?
Don.
Don, thank you. Any questions regarding the fire report or any comments? Andrew, or I should say Michael?
No, their month was a little slower, but compared to last year, they're definitely up. And also want to quickly acknowledge Richard's work with regards to the regional mutual aid agreement there. I know him and the other chiefs put a lot of work into that, and it was well put together.
Okay, thank you. And I believe we're supposed to sign the document shortly? Or?
Yeah, the adoption of these minutes will bring the approval of that agreement, and then you and I can sign.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Transportation and Utility meeting minutes of May the 12th, 2021 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew.
Andrew, thank you. Do you have a seconder?
Marvin.
Marvin, thank you. Any questions regarding that report? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the water and sewer report for May 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Seconder?
Marvin.
Thanks, Marvin. And just a comment in regards to the water and sewer report. I really do want to thank you, Wendy, from the city's perspective, posting the very attractive and up-to-date information regarding our water situation in our treatment plant. Very well done, and I think it's very much appreciated by our constituency. They understand what the problem is, and I think are very helpful in trying to help alleviate that issue. Anybody who I have talked to, the first question that I ask them is, would you rather have drinking water or boiled water advisory, or would you rather have a green law? So this conversation is generally very short, and that is really the message I want to leave today, that is precisely the reason why we're doing this, and I think doing a commendable job in making sure the public is aware of it. Thank you. Be it resolved that Council approves subdivision 4463-21-8106, subject to a development agreement. Terms and conditions of the development agreement will be in accordance with the recommendations made by the city's report to Council. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Don.
Don, thank you. And any further comment in regards to that subdivision? No clarification required. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Council remove the condition to close the public lane contained within Parcel A, Plan Number Deposit 0032/2021 from Subdivision Number 4463-20-8032, Resolution Number 2021-0068. And for those who are totally confused, that is simply removing the application for subdivision, including closing the back lane on 7th Street for that development there.
Yeah, just for clarity, it's not, it's just removing the condition of the back lane closure, because after the public hearing and the response, we decided, and with the developer, they decided not to close the public lane. So that was a previous condition of the subdivision, and now the resolution is just to remove that part.
Okay. All right. Do you have a mover?
Henry Siemens.
And a seconder?
Don.
Don, thank you, and thank you, Henry. And any further clarification? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Resource Committee meeting minutes of May the 25th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Karina.
Seconder?
Andrew.
Andrew, thank you. Any questions or comments in regards to that committee?
There are an awful lot of great committees and boards in our region, and these guys work very hard. And again, we're very fortunate to have so many people that work for our community behind the scenes. And we're very, very fortunate.
And thank you for serving in that committee. All right, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that South Central Regional Library meeting minutes of May the 20th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Marvin.
Thanks, Marvin. And a seconder?
Michael.
Michael, thank you. Any questions regarding those minutes, or Marvin, any comments? I guess it's closed again, but things are going okay.
Yeah, I guess the province made available possible for libraries to be shelters for heat, but we have, I guess, a fair number of staff away, and we're busy doing pickup, so we did not. South Central Regional Library branches did not open for cooling places.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Regional Connections meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2021 be received as information. Mover?
Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Seconder? Karina, thank you. Any further comments regarding those?
April 22nd, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a little while ago. That was my fault. I had them in.
Oh, okay.
I can't even remember. It was like a Dropbox format, and I forgot to forward those.
I see.
And thank you for catching that it was cut off.
It was a very quick read.
Okay, all in favor? And that's carried. Be it resolved that Discovery Nature Sanctuary meeting minutes of April 28th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Marvin.
Thanks, Marvin. Seconder?
Great.
Thanks, Karina. Any further comments or questions regarding DNS?
Is Peter staying on that committee, or is he going to leave the committee now that he's retired?
Though they'd have to recruit him in another capacity if they want him to be there. There might be some others that are vying for his attention too, so.
I see.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried.
But by the way, Andrew, Terry Fair, I think, is doing a good job with the horticulture and the DNS to kind of fill in. And that's been something that's been in parallel for a while now, just so that Terry can get his way in there.
That's great.
Perfect.
Well, from Horticulture Society, I hear it at home, but they almost worship Terry. I'm just saying that he has found his way into the hearts of those women. And appreciate Terry. He's just so willing to help, and anything they need, he's just always there. So yeah, they appreciate him. Please pass that along to him as well. Be it resolved that PV Lip May meeting minutes of May the 11th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Karina.
Thanks, Karina. And again, thanks for serving on that committee.
For sure.
Do we have a seconder?
Michael.
I can help.
Thank you. Yep, Michael's got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Any comments or questions regarding PV Lip?
There's going to come a few more documents I think I found today too. It's okay. Anyways, there's a few other documents that we'll send in yet. So I chair the working group as well as I'm on the executive board. And so I just missed a few of those documents. But either way, we are in the process of creating a municipal board, subcommittee off of that board. And so we can talk about municipal approaches and who's doing what well and where we can learn stuff. And it's just a great opportunity for us. There's lots that we can learn from different communities, and I'm very excited about. I think there are 14 communities that fall under the PV-LIP region, and so I'm excited to be able to bring that together for a bunch of reasons.
Thanks, Karina. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Central Manitoba Tourism meeting minutes of May the 3rd, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Karina?
Seconder?
Help.
She needs some help here, guys.
I'll
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
thank you. Tourism is still kind of struggling, I guess, but
Yeah, tourism has been hit for sure.
we'll get through.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Central Manitoba, be it resolved that Explore Morden Winkler AGM meeting minutes of April the 21st be received for information. Mover?
Karina?
Seconder?
Henry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments in regards to Explore Morden Winkler?
Same thing. We have another meeting coming up tomorrow. We are in the process of doing a new refresh of strategic planning. We have new board members. We had some leaving, and so we did a strategic planning right before COVID hit. So a lot of that became irrelevant. And so we hope to have, or we're having a new vision session starting tomorrow in order to bring us all back and on the same path. So that's happening tomorrow. And then from there, we got Burger Week coming up again. Everybody get ready, start fasting. It's coming, so get ready.
All right, thanks, Karina.
You're welcome.
Keeping that.
Burger Week again?
Listen, okay? Yes, there are so many more options that we haven't even tapped into. Have you seen Charlie B's pierogi burger they announced this week from a 6-year-old that suggested it? Like, come on, there's so much we have to try out yet.
Awesome. Oh, it's neat to have something exciting to look forward to, so awesome. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved the Winkler Family Resource Center meeting minutes of May the 17th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Michael.
Seconder?
Karina?
And any comments there, Michael, or?
I wasn't at that meeting, so I can't speak to that outside of what's on the agenda, but I know they are hard at work prepping for September's after-school program.
Yeah.
Sounds like they've got grants and funding in place, and I think that'll be a well-utilized service by the community.
Awesome.
They also have the ice cream fundraiser coming up, right?
Yes.
So another reason for us to eat.
George's and Morton and Iceberg are here. Go get some ice cream.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think $1 from every cone goes towards them, right? Great.
Yes, thank you for that reminder.
Yes. Everybody go get ice cream.
Okay. Thanks for serving there, Michael. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved this meeting at council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Karina?
Thanks, Karina. Seconder?
Marvin.
Who, Don or Marvin?
Don is good.
Okay, Don, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Okay, Jody, take it away.
Okay, this is a public hearing for conditional use number 1676-21. The applicant is Alexander Schenkel, owner Winkler City Car Wash. This is for the premises located at 1575 Diamond Drive. This is for the construction of a second principal use building, which is a conditional use development as a commercial planned unit development. And the request is in order to construct a new single bay automatic car wash, maintenance and storage shop. And our office has not received any objections to this application. You also have a report from the planning engineering department with their notes and their recommendation that if there are no major objections, that the council approve it subject to some of the conditions which are listed there, some of which are planting some trees on site by the end of October of this year, and to a review of the car wash's water usage and sewer discharge flow every 5 years. And I would note that in studying the water usage of our different car washes, this one in particular has already a very low water usage.
Okay, thank you. Alec, do you got anything you want to add? You're okay? Okay, all right. And the conditions have been described to you what they are, so everything is good there? Okay, be it resolved that the public hearing for C 1676-21 be closed. Mover?
Karina.
Thanks, Karina. Seconder?
Marvin?
Marvin, thank you. And all in favor? And that is carried. Next one, Alex, is the one that you're waiting for. Be it resolved that council approve the conditional use number 1676-21, subject to the owner planting at least 3 deciduous trees on site by October 31st, 2021, subject to the city review of the car wash's water usage and sewer discharge flow every 5 years from the date of signing of July 23rd, 2019 development agreement. Mover?
Henry Stevens.
Thanks, Henry. Seconder?
Don.
Don, thank you. And all in favor of approving this? And that's unanimous. Thank you. Carry on. Keep building. All the best. Next one, Jody.
Next one is a public hearing for variation application 1682-21. The applicant is LA Homes on behalf of owners Paul and Jolene Taves for the house located at 17 Jasper Bay. The zoning, and this is in order to construct a detached garage in the backyard. The zoning bylaw requirements are for 10-foot building separation and 12-foot interior yard setback. And the variation requested is for 6-foot building separation and 6-foot interior yard setback. And we have not received any objections to this request. And there are some notes that were provided for you in the council agenda package.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys want to comment, or you? You're okay? Yeah, no? Okay. Okay. I'm not sure if council has any questions.
None for me.
And for me.
All right.
Nope.
Therefore, be it resolved that the public hearing for Marvin, did you have a question?
Yeah, I guess if it's less than that 10-foot required separation from buildings, then I guess part of their agreement would be special conditions in terms of fire mitigation from one set to the other. Is that right?
Yes, that was reviewed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was alluded to in the notes there.
Right.
The National Building Code actually doesn't require any fire separation between a house and any accessory building that serves the house. But MSTW is going to require the wall of the detached building facing the house to have a rating, since the Manitoba Amendment requires a fire separation between the house and attached garage. So I think you guys are aware of that, correct?
Okay, good. Thank you. Therefore, be it resolved that the public hearing for V 1682-21 be closed. Mover?
Karina.
Michael and Marv, thank you. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none?
Nope.
All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Carry on.
That was just closing now.
Yeah, be it resolved that council approve the variation number 1682-21. Seconder?
Don.
Oh, Don.
Don, thank you. And all in favor? Now you can build.
That's it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Jeff? All right, next public hearing, Jody?
So this is public hearing for variation application number 1677-21. Applicant is Iceberg Drive-In JV Properties on behalf of owners 5615195 Manitoba Limited, premises located at 110 15th Street. The request is in order to construct an addition for a new drive-through pickup window. Zoning bylaw requirements are for 25 on-site parking stalls and a 20-foot front yard setback. The variation requested is for 19 on-site parking stalls and a 16-foot front yard setback. I believe the front yard is actually technically on this property on Pembina Avenue. And we have not received any written objections for this application.
Okay,
You also have a report to council in your package, and that is the result of the planning department working with the owners and applicants. In the end, they have recommended the council approve the variation subject to a development agreement. Really likely would be a separate development agreement and a separate encroachment agreement. And the terms and conditions of the agreement would be in accordance with this report to council from the P&E department.
okay. I see we have some neighbors here. Are any of you wanting to approach council in regards to this application?
If so, if you can come to the mic,
And just
state your name.
State your name for the record, and then state your reason for your comments.
Okay, my name is Ray Clausen. I live just a couple of doors down from Iceberg. Don't know if I have any objections to Jeff's business plan there, but my concern is the volume of traffic. 15th Street is already quite congested, and my concern is what a drive-through could do to that. Because getting off the driveway some days is quite hard.
Okay,
I will, by the way, just bring up the plan here so that people can see the layout.
yeah, I think that's important to take a look at the actual drawing to get a concept as to what that looks like.
I will share my screen.
Get us off the screen.
Okay, I'm just trying to find the right image
That
here.
one.
So if you haven't seen this yet, it's on the two screens. And you see there's the queue line here, approached from the parking lot, and then swinging along north-south, and then exiting out towards Pembina Avenue. Just to provide some context there.
Okay,
I'm John Harmer, the neighbor to the Iceberg to the north. So we have some objections to this proposal. We already had a meeting with Jeff about it, but just to inform you some of the things we talked about. One of our biggest concerns would be noise, which is always has been a problem, but the fence that exists there now is not quite 8 feet, but it does nothing for noise suppression because it's wood and it has gaps in it, which happens with wood. It's not necessarily a poor construction or anything, but the noise would be a huge thing, and the detriment to property value as a result of it. And so my proposal would be to have a 10-foot high noise barrier that runs the entire length of my property, and also JC, my backyard neighbor's property. That would be kind of engineered to suppress noise. We would like it to be a minimum of 10 feet high, possibly out of solid concrete or some type of a stucco. I've done some research on noise in communities where business and residents meet. There's a lot of information on the internet, but the noise research that is done with those communities is pretty good. So I think if anybody wanted to know some information about how to suppress noise for neighborhoods, there's a lot of information on the internet. But the other thing I thought of is with the oncoming traffic going into the drive-through is almost right next to my driveway. So if you can imagine a drive-through with a lot of cars wanting to turn and cars coming down 15th Street not being able to move, they would then have to wait in line till the drive-through clears, and then they could proceed down 15th Street. As well as traffic going north on 15th Street would have to wait to get turned onto the drive-through, thereby obstructing traffic flow going north as well. So my proposal would be, aside from the noise barrier wall, to have the on and the off for the drive-through to come off of Pembina, and then close both of the on and off entrances that exist on 15th Street, to have them completely closed off. That way 15th Street doesn't get more traffic problems. Pembina probably has about maybe just a fraction of the traffic than 15th Street does. So I think for people to come to the Iceberg drive-through from Pembina and then go on to through the drive-through that way would make a lot more sense. So that's from my angle, some of the issues that I see there. But, so traffic and noise. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Jody,
JC?
can you show us?
Do I need to keep my mask on when I'm speaking here?
Not from there, you don't need to.
Okay, whew, thank you. Not very good at that thing. We live next door to the west, have for many years. I lived through probably 2 or 3 different businesses at that location. It's nice to see something successful going on there. So we've also had things going on there that aren't successful. And so that is, it's better to have something successful. My biggest concern is noise, privacy, and yeah, property value, I guess. For myself, I would like to see, if you can imagine, yeah, that corner, the southwest corner of Jeff's property, right there where the
Moses circle.
there's thanks, Jody. There's a property stake there, and I wouldn't need a 10-foot fence starting right there, but I'd like a 6-foot coming back 20 feet, and then 8 feet coming back the next 20 feet, and then 10 feet from there all the way to the back corner of my property. We live in a bi-level, and our deck comes off at sort of half a story higher than maybe normal. And so we have people hanging over the fence looking at us, and we have noise. And now with the cars coming around that corner there, we would have headlights coming through our deck day in and, well, okay, during the day it wouldn't matter, but at night. And so that is one issue. There's been a light that is actually on Dawn's side of the property, the north side, that points southwest And again, we have a deck and a hot tub back there and stuff. And that light, especially later in the year when it gets darker sooner, and it's cooler in the evening and it's fun to be there, but that light is shining into our property, and I would like it to be shining from the northwest corner of his lot into the lot, as opposed to back toward our property. And there's also an issue with the speaker that is meant for the whole outdoor crowd. It also could be inside that gazebo that they built pointing east, as opposed to being in between buildings and just having no particular direction to it at all. But if we had a 10-foot fence there, I think, and again, we talked with Jeff the other night, an actual wall sheeted with rock salt inside of it and stucco on both sides, I think is going to go a long way toward sound barriering stuff. Now, John mentioned he'd done some research on the internet. Maybe there's better stuff out there yet than that, but that for us would be an absolute must.
Okay. Thanks, John. Do you want to respond? Maybe you'll just say yes and.
So we, as they were saying, we did have a meeting last week, and the issue with the wall that they've been discussing, for myself, if I was living next door, I totally understand their concern there, and it's something that I would really look at and consider. And as to how it's constructed, who knows right now? But I would certainly want to appease them and make that something happen. Because I can agree that, like with JC's fence, his fence isn't as high as what John's is, so it's terribly easy to look over. And I do see his deck from actually standing out in the yard, so it makes sense. So these things I would build even if they weren't even mandated, because I know that's something that we need to address just to be good neighbors. So yeah, but the whole reason why we've approached this whole drive-through issue is because, well, we see what's happening to industry recently, and these changes are not going to happen back to the way they were anytime soon. And I think we're going to be in this situation, even not being locked down the way we are, but even just the way people, the way they think, the way they eat out, the way they shop, it's all changing. But I need to, as a business owner, need to adapt just to make my business remain viable. So that's why we're approaching this way. As for John's concern with traffic, I'm not sure the best way to approach that. But what I will say is the way the drive-through is staged, we do have 12 vehicles that can be staged before it hits my parking lot, and then you could see there's at least another 2 or 3 more before even the street would be affected. And I know the big concern in town with drive-throughs is everybody looks at the Tim Hortons drive-through.
And hates it.
I drove by there today and just to see how big their drive-through was, and they have 10 people they can stage that I did see staged before it hit the street. So we do have a little bit more room than what they do, about 50% more. So I'm not saying I'm going to be as busy as Tim Hortons. I would be ecstatic as a business owner if I was, but I can't imagine or see where we're going to end up with that. So, but yeah, that's all that I have to say.
I think one of the concerns was in regards to John, I think tying up your driveway, right? If the lineup gets that far. Just thinking even at A&W now, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people that go through A&W, but it's even causing problems there with the bulk barn.
Okay.
So they've got signs up there, no parking between this, because there's a tendency just to, and there they backed up into the lane going to Walmart. So yeah, drive-throughs are a challenge to make sure that you have enough staging area. And ideally, you look at it, drive-through at a corner lot that kind of gives you the shivers because of the experience with Tim Hortons.
Right. Yeah.
But to try to mitigate that, I would just like to add that to change the driveway or to close them up and come off of Pembina I would say that that's probably very scary, and certainly our engineers would want to weigh in on that one before that would be considered. I have no idea whether it's even possible.
Right.
I think it
Yeah.
wouldn't
Just
be
even the way that
recommended from staff from a point of view of coming off of a collector like that. I think it would cause more significant problems.
Great.
Can I ask you why you think that's the scary proposal is too long?
Well, in that particular intersection, people are slowing down for the stop sign at Pembina already. And on Pembina, there is no stop sign there. Unless you create a four-way stop there, then you have a stop sign. But otherwise, there's no four-way stop there and there's no roundabout. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to control the traffic on a through street than it is on one where there's a stop sign.
Would a three-way stop be a consideration there? It would increase
Our
the flow
engineering
off of
department would need
15th
to
Street.
look at that, right?
Yeah, and even then, I think if you're going to queue from there, you have the greater potential of backing up into that intersection as opposed to backing up north on 15th Street.
Great.
You would back up north and south. Because you have traffic wanting to turn into this drive-through coming north as well as going south. So then you're stopping it from both ways. If you come down Pembina, like Pembina is very mild compared to 15th Street. Now you have two driveways coming off right at an intersection, and on and off. It creates a lot of chaos at the corner and down 15. So what I was thinking is Pembina, come on and off, you're entering from a very much less traffic street.
Sorry, guys.
Yes, the only other thing that I would caution in regards to that is because you're creating traffic flow right past the front door. So you've got a pedestrian hazard there that maybe we're not thinking of because it's still interior serving as well, right, Jeff? So the rest of your parking lot walks there, so you're walking across the traffic.
Yeah, I thought of that as
Mark.
well.
Can we ask anybody who's speaking to speak into the microphone so the rest of council can hear that as well?
Thank you.
Okay, well, maybe Jeff will maybe let you wrap up and then.
I'm finished.
Jeff,
I said
did
what I
you-
need to. Yeah.
Did you have any of these kind of discussions with the planning department when you were?
Not
looking at
about the
design?
traffic flow on the two streets. It was all about just
Okay.
the flow of the actual parking or the lot itself.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
John, if you have some additional comments other than what you've made already, I'll open it up. If you want to share some of those, it sounds like Jeff is willing to do the fence issue. And certainly on the traffic flow, I don't think we as council are able to make that decision here, whether it comes off of 15th or if it comes off of Pembina. That would be an engineering decision, I think, that would need to be made, a recommendation coming from staff. So we have a couple of things we could do. We could either go to close the public hearing, or we could defer the decision and allow staff to have input in regards to the information we received today, but then the decision wouldn't be made until the next council meeting. Do you have the time to wait till the next council meeting, or do you have to have the decision today, or?
I don't have to have that.
Okay, so this way, the public hearing doesn't close, it just gets deferred. You don't need to advertise again. We just deal with the information we received today, and then we make the decision at next council meeting. That way we could check with their staff in regards to engineering design and have some of these conversations with them. And Jeff, I appreciate your offer to comply with the fencing issue. That at least that's one of the issues that are off the table. And some work, John. Okay.
Just a question.
You mentioned a development agreement. Is that where the actual construction of the fence and things like that
Correct.
would be determined?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, and do we get any opportunity to weigh in on that?
Yeah,
Or,
I think we will take the feedback that you've given us here at this meeting and pass that to our planning department.
okay,
And then what they will do is work with Jeff and then come up with the agreement. And you would have opportunity to, I mean, I'm sure Jeff's been open with you guys and he's talked with you. He'll likely talk to you again. If not, in 2 weeks at the public hearing, 2 weeks from now, then you could return and find out the details if you don't have them yet.
okay.
Yeah, the only thing we wouldn't do in 2 weeks' time is we wouldn't go through the hearing process again, reviewing the same information again. We would just take the information we got today and how we've dealt with it and come up with a plan, how it may work, and that's the piece of information would be there in 2
Right.
weeks.
The basis for adjourning the meeting like that is if new information is required. And so the new information would likely be towards the work on the fence and the traffic impact.
Yep.
And the recommendations from our planning department on the feasibility of coming off of Pembina Avenue.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, for expressing your concerns. And Jeff, thank you for your interest in providing another service, but yet also your willingness to work with your neighbors. Much appreciated. So we will just defer this decision till the next council meeting, and we don't close the public hearing now, right?
We leave it open.
Yes.
So we need
Okay.
a motion to adjourn it to the June, I think it is 22nd. So adjourn to the council meeting on June 22 at 6:45 p.m.
Okay.
I so move.
Henry, seconder.
Don,
Don, thank you. Okay, all in favor? So done. We'll revisit this in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, guys.
And I'm not sure if our youth council member is online, or is she going to give us an update, or?
She was not available today.
Okay. All right. Other business, we have none. I think I've covered all the points here. No questions from the media. So therefore be it resolved, this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover?
Karina.
Sabrina, thanks. Seconder?
Marvin.
Okay, Marvin, thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Marvin, I didn't want to leave you out here all the time.